Good morning, guys. Bill McMillan here with you on IndyWX.com. Tell you what, sometimes you just have to kind of crumble a forecast and throw it in the trash, especially during the first half of this storm system, I should say, here across central portions of the state. Didn't expect the warm air advection to be as strong as what we're seeing, and the result, obviously, now even north of the I-70 corridor, places from Crawfordsville, Lebanon, over to Noblesville, dealing with mostly rain. All rain for the city itself as we record this video just before 9 o'clock. The snow and the mixed precipitation is now, including freezing rain. I've gotten several reports of it getting very slick across the Frankfort area, but even Lafayette, Kokomo, over to Tipton, Hartford City, and Muncie, all dealing with mixed precipitation now, sleet and freezing rain. Are we just, going away from the snow idea altogether? Not at all. I think, in fact, some of the shorter-term, higher-resolution guidance that's trickling in as we are doing this video even would suggest that central and eastern portions of the state will still see a nice stripe of accumulating snow, enough to shovel with this storm system during the quote-unquote second half. So a very complicated and complex storm, and certainly appreciate y'all for sending, obviously all the reports that you've been sending in this morning with respect to the precipitation type in your particular community. Continue to keep that coming. I think as we progress here into the afternoon and certainly into the evening hours, we're going to see a nice deformation band of precipitation set up across the state, and that has to do with this upper level energy as we put this into motion off of the latest, this is the 12Z NAM, a classic track here for what should eventually become a rather potent deformation band, and as it pivots through central and eastern portions of the state, it'll be more than capable of putting down several inches of wet snow as we go through the afternoon. And then you factor in some of the other ingredients that we've been discussing, such as the wind that's going to pick up, the plummeting temperatures. I'm still very concerned for a significant high-impact event. So I would caution you, especially if you're out and about thinking, or at least thinking about getting out and about from the city itself and points east in particular, certainly northeast as well. Maybe not do that. I would encourage you to stay indoors still, because the weather will continue to change drastically as we go through the afternoon and on into the evening, with this mixed precipitation or rain changing over to a wet snow, and then we had those, add those complicated factors with wind and plummeting temperatures, and certainly expect still a messy time of things later on today. The HRRR forecast radar again continues to show this mostly a mixed area of precipitation and rain for the city itself through the late morning hours, but colder air will eventually begin to get involved here as the deformation band begins to set up initially off to our southwest during the late morning and early afternoon. That should grow in overall coverage and intensity as we progress into the afternoon and evening hours. This is the forecast radar around 6 o'clock, what it may look like. And notice by that point, all of central Indiana is in the snow zone, and that mixed precipitation continues to slide off further to the southeast. Continuing to advance this, 8 o'clock, that deformation band pivots through the area, and we'll certainly be dealing with very strong and gusty winds by this point in time as well, and plummeting temperatures. And then by 11 to 12 o'clock, it's mostly the eastern portion of the state still dealing with the snow at that time. If we look at winds, again, as mentioned, gusts will approach and exceed potentially 40 miles per hour through the afternoon and evening, maybe even close to 50 miles per hour in places. So whiteout conditions, significant blowing and drifting of snow is expected as we go through the afternoon and evening hours, and then you add in these plummeting temperatures. Most of us by Sunday morning will wake up to temperatures in the single digits with wind chills well below zero. So our updated snowfall forecast, certainly vastly different, and we have to, obviously apologize for that, but sometimes we just have to make those changes. I wanted to pull this up for you right quick. a lot of this is across the northern portion of the state falls, now. This is what's going to fall. I don't think northern Indiana gets into that deformation zone as we move into this evening and into the early nighttime hours. But it's a totally different story across southern, eastern, and central portions of the state, where I still think from Indianapolis and points east, and let's just say India itself, probably a good bet, I still think, to see 4 or 5 inches of snow with this storm. Further east, maybe Adams, Jay, Randolph County, potentially 6, maybe even 7 inches with this deform zone as it comes through later on this evening. Southern portions of the state definitely have an opportunity to pick up 4 or 5 inches. I think the rip-off zone, if you will, folks who may be left out altogether from any sort of significant snow, probably over from, say maybe Putnam, western portions of Montgomery, Fountain County, Vermilion County, dusting to an inch perhaps. It's going to be these areas will be a little bit too far west, I think, before the deformation zone has an opportunity to really organize and begin to impact central and eastern portions of the state. So guys, that'll do it. We'll continue to keep you updated. It really truly is a nowcast situation here as we go through the day. Confidence is there certainly, though, for a high impact event by the time the storm is over with. And then our attention, as mentioned, turns to just the strong winds and the plummeting temperatures that are sure to make a mess of area roadways later on this evening. Stay safe, stay tuned, and we'll talk with you soon.